Bonjour, sweet fans, finally meet! So, as you can see, today is a wonderful day. The flowers are blooming, the birds are singing, even the sky is so blue and the trees are full of life. And of course, Prince Edward, the prince of sensual poetry, is sitting next to me. So, today Prince Edward is going to talk to us about the art of making love. Prince Edward, do you want to say hello to my fans?
Oh yes, of course. Hello Marseille's fans, it's a great pleasure to be here with you.
Do you want to tell them how we met each other?
Oh, certainly. Me and Marseille share a long history together. We met approximately 5 years ago
5 years, yeah.
at the Ritz Hotel in London, where I was staying as a guest of honor in the Palm Suite, lecturing every evening to a group of rich intellectuals and sophisticated businessmen about my new book of poetry at the time called The Erotic Energy of the Mind, which accordingly teaches the common man how to make love and remain pure and poetic during and after the act itself, whether it's anal, oral, straight, or any other kind of position which our creative minds might think about. We can do all that and still remain with a Shakespearean point of view to embrace our hearts and make us genuine and noble. Well, anyhow, one night I noticed among the audience this woman, this elegant, beautiful woman, who seemed to swallow with hunger every single word that I say. This, of course, was you, Marseille. You sat the third line in the middle, if I'm not mistaken.
You can be more correct.
And then after the lecture, I felt the urge to speak with this dreamy creature, which seemed to come out of a fairy tale. And so I approached her, told her that she somewhat looked familiar, and asked to know her name. And when she said Marseille Mars, I could not help myself. I gazed with astonishment. My God, I cried. The notorious Marseille Mars at my lecture. I could not believe it. You were already famous even back then, all over London and abroad. The great madam of planet Mars is what me and my poetry colleagues used to call you. I was so amazed. Even now when I'm thinking about it, my hands are shivering like the wings of a butterfly.
Yeah, but I remember that you recovered very fast from your first shock. Remember? And then you asked me to go with you to your suite. You grabbed my hand, I accepted, of course. And when we came to your suite, I thought that my suite and your suite were near each other. We were like neighbors in suite.
Yes, it was quite fortunate. I told you that we should go to mine, and after that I'll be more than glad to visit yours. And then I unlocked the door to my private heaven at the Ritz, the place where I read and write my finest erotic poetry.
You lifted me up like a groom lifted his virgin wife or something. Virgin wife, you said, right? And
yes.
Then you just throw me on the bed. I was shocked because you know you're so polite, and it was shocking.
Yes, and then I lay beside you, opened my book, and started to read you my first poem. I'd love to undress you.
Oh yeah, and you really undressed me back then.
I undressed you like a swan with my endless forgiven hours. I undressed you like the trumpets of salvation that arise. If sheer glory would allow my organs to oblige, I truly wish to bless you as we enjoy our jelly ride.
And then I was completely naked. I was free like a bee. And I started to improvise my own song. It was something like Prince Edward, the prince of sensuality, the prince of Earth and Mars. Look at me. Follow me to planet Mars. Let me to guide you to this wonderful journey with sensuality, with love, with sex. Let me show you the way of planet Mars. And then we both came. Oh my God.
And then my theory was proven beyond any doubt. That night we were making sweet, passionate love, but still remained pure and poetic in our eternal souls.
Yes, you were so beautiful that night.
No, darling, we both shined that night, like the fresh, clean skies of summer.
And remember what happened next? When we went to my suite to take a bath.
Right.
Remember, we entered to the bed.
Oh, right, and what, there was someone already there?
Yeah.
A client of yours, if I do recall, who answered to the name of...
Bathman.
Bathman, right. This gentleman had a lovely theory about how people should do nothing but stay in the bath all day and make love to each other.
I remember you argued, you two.
Oh, no, dear, it was merely a difference of perspective. I agreed with him that a person should make love every round hour of the day. It's very healthy and recommended. What I simply implied is that there are other great places on God's green earth that a person can enjoy making a high standard act of love in. That is all.
For example.
Well, I wouldn't know. Well, there's the kitchen, of course. There's the garden. There is, well, the bedroom. But I simply believe that a person should choose and enjoy the spontaneous moment as it arrives before he knows where he chooses to make love.
Yes, right. And you talked and until Bathman was completely, like he took our both hands and threw us into
right
the bed.
into the tub. And then we were three.
Yeah.
And that gave me the inspiration to write my bestseller novel, which made me even more rich and more famous than ever. 3 persons, 3 minds, 3 poems, 1 intercourse, and endless poetic positions.
And it was all history afterwards.
Yes, indeed.
You become more famous than you ever been. And even me, I became famouser than I was like 5 years ago, right? So, do you want to say last words to my fans?
Yes, of course. Well, gentlemen, always remember to read a lot of poetry, write a lot of poetry, and keep opening your heart and soul to the glorified planet Mars. It's up there in the starry skies, waiting for us to capture it while we are dead or alive. Or it could be right here with you, my fairy pie, near me, beside me, caressing my fabulous poet's eye.